Hey guys, welcome back. Bit of a different video than what I'm usually making, but I wanted to finally tackle this idea of making a tutorial on all the cinematic stuff that I've done and all the knowledge that I've learned. So I'm finally here to do that. This video is pretty jam-packed with a lot of stuff, so take your time, rewatch a few things, ask questions in the comments, whatever you need. But at the end, we're gonna know all the knowledge to make something like this. So before we get into this, I'm just gonna give you all kind of a roadmap of what all we're gonna cover, because there is a lot. So we're gonna go through cinematic car shots, very important knowledge you'll need to know. Photo mode bug, which is kind of the big deal here. Recording on an Xbox specifically. General event setup for multiple different games. Using the bug, both in rewind and replay modes. The general replay cameras that are in the game, some ideas to get creative, and then downloading and editing your footage. Hopefully this will help y'all get started on making some amazing videos. Without any further ado, let's get into... Alright, just to start with, you're going into your photo mode by pushing up on the D-pad and press Y to go through your settings. Make sure your sampling is set to quality and your drivers are disabled for static shots. This will make your videos look just that much better. From here, you can hide the UI by pressing the select button, and now you're ready to record. You can pan around the car, getting some interesting angles, all that fun stuff. This is a lot of very light and specific handwork, but it's a lot of fun once you get the hang of it. Get some front angle shots, some close-up shots, some back away shots, all this fun stuff. But here's the issue. None of the environment is moving. No people, no confetti, all this fun stuff. So there's a solution for this. This is a little different to set up. You're gonna wanna move your car around or keep it sitting somewhere. Here I've got it driving forward for a little bit, nothing crazy. And then you're gonna wanna rewind. Go into your replay by pressing X, rewinding all the way using the left trigger, and then holding down the right trigger while selecting the Take Photo tab with A. This will get you an interesting bug where the car and the environment is still gonna move around you while you're in photo mode. This is the key to all the further shots that we're gonna be doing here. This will really liven up your scene and give it that extra little touch of detail to make it feel that much more crisp. Now you do have to be careful because if you don't move the camera, it'll get this weird long exposure type shot. So you're gonna wanna always be moving the camera. Unless you wanna take some creative license with that. Long story short, you're getting these very atmospheric shots where things are still moving around, and it makes it look so much better. Now for dynamic shots, you've got a bit of a different setup here, and I'm gonna explain it to you. There's two different ways to go about this. Firstly, you're gonna wanna sit your car doing nothing for about 10-15 seconds so you can get your camera in the position where you want to take the shot. Then you would just drive your car over to where you're taking the shot, rewind, and repeat the process while in photo mode, going to that specific location. Your second option is doing a loop around, where you're driving past the spot where you want your photo. While you're positioning your camera, the car is now moving around in a loop to get back to where that position is. From there, it's the same type of idea. Car slides into the shot, rewind, go into photo mode, and stick your camera in the angle where you're getting the shot. Two quick things to harp on just at the end of this. Firstly, make sure you're always moving the camera or else you're gonna get that weird long exposure. And then also make sure that you're recording your audio separately because while you're in photo mode, you're not gonna hear anything. The clips that I have on the left act as that in this case. All right, now we're gonna move on to start with, press the Xbox button on your controller. This is going to take you to a home tab where there's going to be two shortcuts. You can either click X to record what happened or click Y to capture a screenshot. We're going to be focusing on the X shortcut here in a moment. You can also go over to the Capture and Share tab where here you can manually select record what happened up to a minute in time or start and stop a recording of however long you want. From this tab, you can also access your recent captures, all of your captures, and you can also access the capture settings. In here, I set my recording length to 15 seconds. This goes back to the shortcut where you record what happened from the home tab. Set your resolution to 1080p. You're generally not going to be recording for longer than 1 minute. I've seen that you can record up to 4 minutes with this though. Maybe because I'm running on an Xbox Series X, not sure. You can select where your captures are saved. I just have them to my internal storage. And then finally, you can allow your captures by either you or the game and you. Set it to just you, because the game can capture some unwanted footage, and that's not really helpful. What you'll be doing is in photo mode, you'll be hiding the UI, panning around for a couple of seconds, and then using that shortcut to record a 15-second clip. You can download those later, and I'll explain how to do that. If you want to record longer, go to the Capture and Shares tab and just click Start Record. Pretty simple. Next up on the dock, we're going to... Now for Horizon 5, they've patched this bug. Unless there's some wacky way around it, I don't really know how to access it yet. For Horizon 4, you're just gonna go out to your location, create a route, set up a blueprint, pick your cars. Your route can either be really long or really short. We'll get into the details on which one you prefer later. Set up your weather, set up your time of day, all that fun stuff, and then create and use your blueprint. Some things to be aware of. You can't rewind once the first car passes the finish line. Don't roll over or else it's gonna reset you back onto the driving line. And you may encounter some bugs because we're dealing with something that is not an in-game mechanic. For Horizon 3, you can actually use the custom blueprint builder. Here you're gonna create a new bucket list. Generally speaking, I'd just set a route to some random place. Whether you're going there or not doesn't really matter. Set your time of day, your weather. I'd recommend keeping traffic on. You do need rewind on for this. Lock camera doesn't really matter. Music I'd either check as unchanged or off. Run the route, rewind, and then perform the bug. Now, if you're trying to record in Horizon 1 or Horizon 2, as much as I love those games, kinda sucks to suck in this sense, because there's no way you can set up any custom events. You're purely restricted to free roam in these cases, which is still usable in terms of rewind, but it's kind of annoying. One last thing with the setup before we get into actually recording our clips. Go into your settings and make sure your driving line is off, your damage and tire wear is set to none, or cosmetic if you're wanting to take a wrecked shot, and your rewind is set to on. Next, turn off your radio. It can show up in some of the replays in this clips. And then make sure you have your photo settings set up beforehand. Once again, make sure your sampling is set to quality and your drivers are disabled. These are the settings I'm using otherwise. Nothing crazy. Now you've got everything set up and you're ready to start. For rewind, you're going to set a really long route. This goes back to the first Drivatar crossing the finish line and you not being able to rewind anymore. Your rewinding is critical for this. Other than that, set up your event to whatever you'd like, set the weather, set the time of day, you do you. From here, you're going to start your route, drive down your route, sit around at your location for about 20 seconds, rewind, and go into photo mode and start recording. You can get a ton of different angles, it's cool, fun shots, stuff like that. Just be aware of drivers in the background. Whoops. You can even record dynamic shots with the rewind, although this can be a little finicky. Once again, make sure you record the audio. Then whenever you're done, just hit quit. Some pros with the system, you don't have to sit through replay footage. It's easily repeatable. Once you exit out, it just restarts the clip. And it's easily recoverable if you miss input or exit out. You just rewind again. Some cons with this system though is that you're only given 20 seconds of usable replay footage, and this in turn makes dynamic shots very difficult. Next up, same general setup as last time, but now you can set your route to be very short because we're not trying to rewind, we're just looking at the replay. From here, set your weather, your time of day, your season, create the route, run the route, drive out, record your dynamic shots, drive back, finish your race, or better yet, go into the pause menu and reset your car's position by pushing the left stick down. This will set you back onto the driving line on the racetrack. And then from here, you just cross the line. Once you've completed the race, make sure you press Y. Crap. Make sure you press Y. And now you're back in a replay. Works the same way as the previous time now. Much easier to set up your dynamic shots because of the way that I showed y'all before. Get some fun angles, and make sure that you record your audio. Cannot harp enough on that. Some pros of this system is you can record for much longer than rewind, And because of this, you can create some better dynamic shots. The cons to this system though is that you have to manually rewind. You can't use restart because that'll just send you back to the start of the race. And it's very costly if you miss input. Do not press A at the end of the race. Moving on, we have in the replay camera, you can start your replay footage by pressing the start button on your remote. Also in the replay, you have the camera type tab. You can cycle through these cameras using left and right on the D-pad and get some more specific angles by pressing X to change the camera angle. There's a lot of different angles in here. And while they can be really restrictive because you can't change the angles at all, they can be really interesting to use for different transitions. With all these preset cameras, there's two different types of subsections that I like to group them in. Something called map-centric and something called car-centric. Here I've got a visualization of what I mean by that. One camera is panning across depending on a rotation on the map, whereas the other one is fixed on the car. With this, and using a bit of creativity and finding some roads going the same direction on the map, you can get a transition like this. Kinda botched, but you get the idea. From the car-centric shots, you can go crazy with these, changing the time of day and the weather, using some amazing transitions. Some other interesting ideas for transitions is having your car go behind something, like a car or a building, a tree, a sign, you name it, and using that to transition your footage. Here's a couple of clips that I've made with stuff like that. Some final notes, take some creative liberties, make your car dirty, wreck your car, do something crazy with it. While I've given you guys this checklist to almost follow, you don't have to follow it down to a T. Use some creative liberty and have some fun with this. Alright, last but not least, we have... The way that I do this is a bit overly complicated, and it's just because I'm going from my Xbox to my iPhone to my Windows PC, and there's no easy way to transfer files, so y'all don't have to follow this, but this is what I do. For one, you're going to need the Xbox app on your phone. You can't access this from your computer as of 2024. Some sort of editing software. I personally recommend a computer software, and then some way to transfer your files from your phone to your computer, only if you're using a computer though. To start with, you're going to scroll over to the Capture and Share tab, go down to Recent Captures, all the way down to Show All, and select that. From here you can access all your footage. Next, find a video you want to download, press the Start button on your controller, and scroll down to Upload to the Xbox network. And then from here you just upload. Here in the My Captures page, you can see both what you're uploading to the network and how much it's uploaded by a percentage. Next, launch the Xbox app on your phone, go to the My Library tab, select a clip, and then click Save. This will download to your camera feed. From here, you can select your clip, select Share, use whatever file tool you have, upload it to that file tool, download it onto your computer, and then upload it to your editing software. Now for editing your footage, I don't really want to get into a ton of detail with that because you may be using a different software, or even then, I use Adobe and it's very, very dense on the knowledge that you need to know for editing these things. And I would point you to different tutorials for those things. All I'll recommend from here is make sure you do some color grading on your footage, make sure your audio is lining up with your footage, and good luck diving into the wonderful world of editing. There's a lot. With that said, welcome to the end of the video. I hope you guys got something away from this tutorial, and I hope to see you guys implementing this into some videos in the near future, because I'd love to see a lot more Forza cinematic content. Good luck out there, and stay tuned for the next video.